Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. Today is Monday, which means that we're going to be doing a show on the Constitution of the Bahamas. That's what we do every Monday around here. We call it a Masterclass Monday. And it's a time when I have Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson join me. And he serves as our navigator as we examine the Constitution of the Bahamas. And so we're just waiting for the professor to arrive, and then we're going to dive right in to what has become one of the more sought after shows here on GPS, because Bahamians find themselves learning so much from these Masterclass Monday shows about the Constitution that they didn't necessarily know before. And knowledge is power, but only when applied. But it begins with having the knowledge to begin with. And this is what these shows aim to do, to shed more light on the Constitution of the Bahamas. So while we wait for the professor to arrive to the studio, I'm going to go ahead and share with you how you can get in on the conversation, whether you have a question or a comment or an observation, whatever it is. So we're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Please like and share the show as you come in. And we're also streaming live on rumble.com. That's rumble.com. Look for Global Paradigm Shift, all one word, Global Paradigm Shift, no spaces in between. And you can find us also on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. You might want to download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device so you can carry us around with you 24/7. And last but by no means least, I'd like to say a huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio. The telephone numbers to call are 326-0271. That's 326-0271. 326-0272. I'll go ahead and put the graphic back up again. 326-0272. And the WhatsApp line is 801-0271. That's 801-0271. All right, so you can both call or message us on the WhatsApp line with your questions. we acknowledge that the Constitution is not the easiest document to understand. And I thought it was important that we do what I think our successive governments have failed to do, and that is to try to provide some degree of education as it relates to what is contained in the Constitution. Because, as is often said on these shows, your Constitution is your supreme law of the land. So it makes sense that you should know what it says as far as your rights and responsibilities are concerned. So that's what we do around here every Monday. And I see where Professor is now getting settled in his seat. So I'm just going to give them an opportunity to get him all set up, and then we will bring him into the studio. In the meantime, I would like to say congratulations to all who were honored today recognized today by I guess, the government of the Bahamas. A very special event was held today. The government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the Golden Jubilee Independence Award of Supreme Honor ceremony was held today. And they honored quite a number of Bahamians, dozens of them actually, both those alive and some who have passed on. They honored them posthumously. And it was a lovely ceremony for what I could stay for. I had to eventually leave while they were still going on because I wanted to be here on time. But for the bit that I did catch, it was quite a wonderful ceremony. I had a relative who was among those who were honored today, Patricia Clinton Macolas, and so I was there in support of her. And it was a really lovely event. So I want to say congratulations to all of the honorees, for contributing to nation building, and in many ways sacrificing so that they could help to build this nation. And quite frankly, we need a lot more people like the honorees who will put nation first and seek to build as opposed to tear down. And the honorees came from all walks of life. So you had those in the arts, you had those who served in politics, you had sports people, business people, members of the church. It was a really cross section of honorees. Like I said, some who have passed on were honored posthumously, and then there were those who are still with us who received their roses while they're alive. And it was a really great event. Okay, so I think we can bring Professor up now on the screen. There he is. Professor.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. I hope you're doing well. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, a free and sovereign democratic nation
Absolutely.
with tremendous constitutional privileges. And there's some things I want to specifically address today to help the Bahamian people to understand the Constitution, which is the supreme law.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we still have tremendous misinformation that is being promulgated in this country, which is not constitutionally sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it is being done by persons who ought to know better. Notice what I said. They ought to know better, but have not been doing better. It seems like they are in a mad rush to keep people in a state of confusion. And you don't have to be confused when it comes to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. I'm going to give you something that I heard on another radio show.
Okay.
where two personalities called into that particular show, and they only can speak from what they know. But the host of that show got irritated. The particular personality who was the guest on that show was supposed to be well educated and trying to explain, I guess, the best way he could.
Mhm.
But apparently, from what I listened to it quite well, and I said, the way how it is being presented is not going to get to the average person because they don't speak the language. You know, some people are highly intellectual and they speak that language. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
But these two persons called in, and I just want to draw in on those two at the beginning of the show because first it was the lady who called in, among other callers who called in, but I just want to make reference to two of them. She said, "You're always talking. When you're going to do something, you need to take action." Well, you know, I was told that last week by a particular person who called in, and I am not offended by that. And the host got ruffled and was offended. And then right after that, another person called in and said, "Put your $400 on the table." And that really flared that particular personality up, and that particular personality went way off.
Mm.
Now, see, when I look at it, I could work with the two of them. The one who said, "You're always talking, you're not doing anything," and the other one who said, "Put your $400 down and let's get the show on the road."
Mhm.
You could have started with both of what they said and helped them to understand the importance of elections, because the show was supposed to be about government.
Okay.
And I listened to it and I said, well, if you listen to what the callers had said, apparently the message that was being disseminated was not clear to them.
Mhm.
Because the way how you present the information is very important. It has to be made simple, basic, fundamental language. Now, see, nothing was said about the Constitution. Let me put that out there right now.
Okay.
Not a single word about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Maybe they didn't think that was important. Every time when I come here on a Monday, I come here for one purpose: the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Nothing else, nothing personal, no other topic, because that is the supreme law of the land. That is what we ought to be working with to improve the quality of life in this country. And there is tremendous misinformation out there by people who have been given the authority to run things. And of course,
Well,
I heard,
Professor, before
go ahead.
you go on, I just want to say this. I just want to touch on something that you said that Bahamian people don't seem to get. Many of them, anyway. The first thing they would say to you is, "Well, why you don't run? Why you don't put, like you say, why you don't put your $400
Why
on
don't
the
put your
table?"
$400 on the table
As
and get on
if
with
to
it?
say, as if to say that the only way that you can make a contribution to the building of this nation is if you sit in the halls of Parliament.
Yes.
If that were the case, we would need 400,000 seats in there.
So everybody get out of the seat.
You understand?
Yeah. But see, if the people were smart, if they were wise, you listen to what both of them said, help them to understand the process. Now, I will do it today on this show.
Okay.
To help people to understand the process. And there's another article in the Constitution I want to cover later on in the show. I will help them to understand the process of governance in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Constitutionally sound. They were only speaking what they know, what they have heard, what has been told to them. And they know little about the Constitution, but I must say that people are beginning to wake up and trying to understand the Constitution. I believe people want to do better. That's the way I see it. I waited 50 years for them to wake up, and now they're waking up. And when people get that kind of reception, they just go back into the corner and they go back in the shell. I think the callers meant well. I listened to what they were saying. So I'm going to help them today to understand how the process ought to be. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Any other law that's in contravention to the Constitution, this Constitution shall prevail. And the other law, to the extent of its inconsistency, shall be null and void. Nothing to it. It doesn't exist. It has no standing. It has no legal standing. A lot of people don't understand that. So we have to help them to understand, because see, the better they understand the Constitution, the better they'll be able to make sound decisions and good judgments. But if you rough them up and rout them out and make them look small and think they are not saying anything or not making a contribution, you run them and you're not improving. They're not going to hear you. They're not going to listen to you. They get offended over that. I was offended myself with the way how it was dealt with. But I know how to handle them kind of things. But let me just say, I believe that the Bahamian people want a better country. They want things to change in this country. The only way you can change it is through the parliamentary system that has been established in your Constitution to bring change. People had a by-election, West, Grand Bahama, and Bimini. The people said, I ain't going, I'll stay home. Bahamians, it doesn't make any sense when there is an election, whether it's a by-election or general election, to just sit in your house and say, I ain't going to participate. You don't bring change like that. You bring change by participating in the electoral process. That's why it's there. It's a sound way to bring change. Or you want to be like them other fellows south of us? You want that kind of change? We have an opportunity to bring peaceful, democratic changes in our country. And everyone on that register should go out and vote. I want to encourage people who are on the register, get out there and express your view. Now, here's another thing. You may be a member of a particular political party. That particular political party has a candidate in the election. You do not have to vote for that candidate, even if you are a member of that party. Let me repeat that, because some people don't understand how this thing goes. Because I can show them the difference between choosing a parliamentary representative as opposed to choosing a party candidate. Two different things entirely, just like you go to St. Barnabas Church, but you wake also to BTC. You go to BTC on Monday, you go to St. Barnabas Church on Sunday. And you never get that mixed up for years and years and years. You do that, you never get it mixed up. Why you don't get it mixed up? Same person, Miss Malcolm. Two different opportunities. Go to church, and you don't tell them people in St. Barnabas Church, leave their job, come to BTC Monday morning. And you don't tell those people in BTC, leave your church, come to St. Barnabas Church. It doesn't happen. So how come we can do that consistently for years and never make a mistake? Why? Because we understand the difference between worship and work. We need to understand the difference between party representation, parliamentary representation. And that's where we go wrong all the time. We get all kapunkel up, all mixed up, and cannot understand you are to choose a parliamentary representative, not a party candidate. And so people just suck the teeth, say, I want to participate in that. You are throwing away something that's extremely valuable, which is entrenched in your Constitution. You are an elector. That's what the Constitution says you are. You are a constituent, a registered constituent in a particular constituency. We don't even understand the process, how it works. It has nothing to do with any party, because the party itself has to put up a candidate to run in the election. You do not have to vote for that particular personality who the party puts up, because the candidate may not fit. The candidate may not be the best possible person to represent you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to waste time casting your ballot for someone you know cannot help you.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. Let's use the parliamentary process properly. The Constitution says Parliament, Article 52(1), to make laws for the peace, order, good government. 3 specific qualities in each law, well, it should be there, that passed in the House of Assembly. That's the duty of the parliamentarian. That's a primary function of the parliamentary representative, to represent you in that house. But then he get up and say he's speaking on the good people of a particular constituency, and he ain't checked with none of them. You know what they're thinking. He's just talking off the top of his head or her head. Huh? But it's the kind of nonsense that goes on in this country, and we as citizens of the country do not correct them. You have to tell your representative when he's wrong. You have to tell the government of the Bahamas when they're wrong. And I ain't letting up on nothing when it comes to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because if the government is wrong, Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson will tell the government of the Bahamas, you are not constitutionally sound. You have no legal authority. And when you act outside the bounds of your legal authority, don't expect me to listen to you, and don't expect me to obey you, because I ain't checking for you.
So we have a question that's coming in by way of Facebook. Dale says, I heard a caller comment that it doesn't change anything if one doesn't vote. Is that true?
Say that again. Let me make sure I got it right.
I heard a caller comment that it doesn't change anything if one doesn't vote. Is that true?
I think the person might have a misunderstanding. If you see, the scripture says faith without works is dead.
Mm.
That's why the man says, show me your faith by your works.
Mm-hmm.
You may believe something, but you don't take action. I believe we should have change, but you do nothing to bring the change. If you do not organize, and I can speak to organization, I come into that point. If you do not participate in the parliamentary process, whether it's a by-election, whether it's a referendum, whether it's a general election, general elections are, interesting times in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The point is, you will keep grumbling and complaining, and I hear them already start grumbling and complaining. You got West Grand Bahama, let me make sure I say it right, West Grand Bahama and Bimini. They have the port government on that island. They have local government on that island. They have the national government. How much more government do you want? And still they ain't getting nothing. People they tell me West End can't get some food to eat. What kind of nonsense is that? You got 3 different types of government in your province, when you got one. But let me just thank the people for an excellent Thanksgiving Day. It was beautiful. I wish I could eat like that every day, but I can't. I must say that the people went out to help the elderly. The elderly were well treated. And the meals were excellent, very delicious. I think people went out of their way to prepare for Thanksgiving, and we really appreciate that. And I just want to say that on behalf of the seniors who enjoyed the meals very well. So it was a beautiful Thanksgiving Day. But let me get back to the point about the election and parliamentary representation, because it does matter if you stay home and you do nothing. When a situation arises, whether it's a by-election, participate in it. Whether it's a general election, participate in it. Whether it's a referendum, You know, some people scared of referendums, you know.
I won't read the comment and then we got to take a break.
Yes, ma'am.
This person says, for those the PLP could not pay off, allegedly. I put the allegedly in there because you're trying to get people in trouble. It says the PLP threatened the people that if they didn't win, they will not work with anyone else to do anything for them. The voting process is, I think they meant to say, compromise. People don't vote for what's in their best interest out of fear. But see,
I'm going to speak to that point after the break.
Yeah, let's take this break because everything that you've been saying now for months.
Yes.
On this show, every Monday. Answers that question. If you don't know the power you have,
plenty power.
Eat your lunch.
That's right.
And that's the purpose of these shows, to tell you the power that you have. So anybody who at least listen to this show and still decide to cower in fear, well, then I know what else to do for you. Because the whole point of these shows is to show you, you got the power. You.
Plenty power.
Let's take a break. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. We're looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas on this Masterclass Monday. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271. That's 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271. That's 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Please like and share the show. Also coming to you live on rumble.com. That's rumble.com. Look for Global Paradigm Shift, all one word, no spaces in between. You can check us out on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, or download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and follow us there. Last but not least, welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether from here in Providence, Grand Bahama, throughout the family of islands, and around the world. Welcome to our Masterclass Monday show on the Constitution of the Bahamas. Once again, Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson is back at the desk, and he's helping us to understand what can often be seen as a complicated document, at least according to its wording, known as the Constitution of the Bahamas. So, Professor, prior to the break, you were making a very serious point that Bahamians still don't seem to get, and that is when it comes to elections, you could still support your party outside of the booth, but not necessarily vote for the person who your party put forward if you believe within your heart of hearts that that person is not the best choice for advancing the concerns of your constituency and community. Bahamians don't seem to get that.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct on that because they don't understand the purpose of Parliament. Article 52.1 tells you what Parliament is supposed to be doing. Parliament consists of Her Majesty the Queen, a Senate, a House of Assembly, but in this particular case, we're going to deal with the House of Assembly, all right? Because that's where the laws are made. For the peace, order, good government. Now you're dealing with serious business when you talk about choosing a parliamentary representative.
Right.
That's not something to be taken lightly because your very life is going to be affected. The very laws, you sending people there to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Is that happening in your constituency? Is that happening in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas today? Now, of course, I heard some remarks made by the leader of the political party who said what he wanted. And not because the person says something, it is constitutionally sound. What we need to start doing from today onward, this is the 27th of November, we have to start analyzing remarks made by the political personalities who have been given authority to govern in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. Are they constitutionally sound? Yes or no? Well, then you have to know your constitution. That's the only way you can know. So if you keep listening to the foolishness and the nonsense spewing forth from such personalities, what's going to happen? You're going to remain in confusion. And so that text, what came in, is a typical example of that. Because all you do is throw yourself on the ground. Your constitution is here to protect you. See, I can stand on this constitution. I couldn't care what a political leader says. That doesn't move me one iota. In fact, I have all kind of records going decades back on what political personalities have said in this country, what they're going to do, what they promise. Go and check the record and see whether they kept them. I remember when they started talking about proliferation of hardened criminals, what they were supposed to do. But we still got that problem with us. Many, many years later, we still have that problem today. Prolific offenders. I thought that would have been solved a long time when it first was brought up. But we still have people murdering viciously. I think we just had one last night. And one,
Apparently.
yeah, one was last night. That came on the news. And then another one was Saturday morning around 12 midnight. All I'm simply saying is, do not get all kapunkel up because of a leader of a political party makes a statement and then you dump yourself down on the ground and say nothing could be done. You must understand the Constitution allows people to freely express their views. I have no problem with that. That's constitutional. But they'll be talking foolishness and nonsense. Just like I'm telling you now, even I am working hard along with others to help the Bahamian people to understand this most valuable document. You still have people out there talking foolishness and nonsense. They have no intention of doing any better. Now you have to do better. You have to get the document. You have to start examining it. You have to start asking questions. Ask your representative and ask your government whether they're acting constitutionally. And, I could show them they're acting constitutionally on certain issues. But you need to do it too. Don't sit down silent, quietly, and just let things happen. Do not allow the government of the Bahamas to railroad you, use you, walk on top of you, and treat you with contempt because you don't know your Constitution. That's your protection, Bahamians. That's your salvation document. You don't have anything else. Don't mind the scraps of paper a political party put out there and say we're going to run things that way. Is it constitutionally sound? If it's not constitutionally sound, it is null and void. Do you understand that? Article 2 of your Constitution says that. When are we going to start dealing constitutionally with our government? When are we going to start dealing constitutionally with those personalities who sit in the House of Assembly? And then, you got that crew in the Senate. 16 of them. I'm saying, Bahamians, please. We have a short window of opportunity to get it right. We have some serious national problems that the government of the Bahamas is ignoring right here, right now. That's a fact, and I can prove it. I have the evidence. And if they think Professor Thompson is wrong, challenge me. Bring your evidence. Bring your proof. I got the Constitution. I standing on that. I don't care what you say, how you say it. It changes nothing. The Constitution stands lock, stock, and barrel. And my job is to get people to believe in that Constitution, work with that Constitution. That's what strengthens the country, not scraps of paper from a political party. That means absolutely nothing, Bahamians. Have a right to express themselves. I ain't getting that part of it. They talk foolishness and nonsense. And you're going to just fall down when you say things like that or you text things like that, like there's no hope. This Constitution gives you plenty of hope. It gives you a lot of power and authority that you always had. And most of you didn't know you had it. At one point, I didn't know it either. But all the way back in 1971, when I went to see an attorney, And I came out of that office and it hit me on my head. You need to know the law for yourself. But I said, we got all kind of laws around here. And then when I came to understand the Constitution, the Common Supreme Law, that's it. And I never turned back. Never turned back. Because any law that you put in front of me, I could understand it because I know the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas being supreme, nothing could supersede it. So don't mind the funny talk that they come up with. And I heard somebody say some people were threatened in the last by-election. I wouldn't say it was a threat from what I heard. Just political jargon.
Yeah.
That's all that is. I wouldn't call it a threat. They see what people fail to understand. Let me make this point, Ms. Malcolm. What people fail to understand is political personalities will say anything to try to get elected.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they have to lie to you and tell you untruths. That's the way it is. Now, you can stop it by doing some very specific things constitutionally, and it shut them right down. But if all you can do is complain and complain and complain, because I heard complaints today, right after the election, but you just had an election.
Mm.
You got local government and people in West End ain't got no food to eat. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? You got port government over there. You got local government there. You got national government over there.
Let me read this comment. This comment
okay.
is coming in from Richard Russell on Facebook. It says, the problem is, Mr. Thompson, that no one holds the government accountable and they know it. They do what they want.
Now, let me comment on that because I think the caller misunderstands, or the person who sent the information misunderstands. The electors in the constituencies, those who participated in the electoral process, have to put pressure on your representatives, have to put pressure on the government of the Bahamas. We have to hold them accountable. And if they ain't doing the right thing, we have power to correct them. It's just that simple. When you speak like that, you defeat yourself. We have to get out of that defeatist attitude. They will continue to behave in the way they do because like a spoiled child, because the parent doesn't correct the child. We need to correct the government of the Bahamas because they're doing things that are not constitutionally sound. I challenge any one of them. There's man, there's woman. Come. There's a tremendous abundance of evidence to prove that they're not acting constitutionally sound. Anything that's contrary to the Constitution is dangerous, Bahamians. When a government steps out of its legally mandated authority, it is unconstitutional. And you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to obey them. You don't have to do anything they tell you. Because they have no lawful authority to do it. When are we going to get that into our psyche and deal with them decisively according to law? They keep telling you this is a nation of laws. Yes, a nation of laws, all right. But we aren't using constitutional law to keep the government in check. Now, Parliament's supposed to keep the government in check. Now, you can't keep them in check when the fellas got this position and that position and they holding out their hand for this and holding out their hand for that. That's your parliamentarians now. They got all kinds of positions. So are they there to serve your interests, yes or no? Because when I read in the Constitution, it says for the peace, order, good government. Are you getting that in your constituency? Are we getting that in the Bahamas? Where's the peace? With all this murder in here. And no national attention being paid to that major national problem. Illegal immigration. Major national problem. All kind of people flooding in here who don't belong here. And I don't see any decisive action by the government of the Bahamas to deal with this massive flood of persons who are in the country. Citizenship, that is a major problem. And the government of the Bahamas is complicit. I can prove it to you from the Constitution. In handing out pieces of paper and giving people what they purport to be citizenship.
Now, when you say the government of Bahamas, which administration you talking about?
No. Notice what I said, Ms. Malcolm. The government of the Bahamas.
Right.
Constitution speaks to the government of the Bahamas. Right? The government of the Bahamas has been handing out pieces of paper which are not constitutionally sound. It is not in accordance with the Constitution. I got the Constitution right here. I can show you the proof. You have to ask yourself, is the government acting constitutionally see, anything they do that is not constitutionally sound is illegal.
So let me ask you a question. You brought up immigration, and we know based on the Constitution, a lot of people who have received citizenship in this country were not constitutionally deserving of receiving that citizenship, if you go according to what the Constitution says. Right. So my question to you is this. Let's say we are now woke and we now understand that there's a particular procedure that the Constitution outlines that we are supposed to follow in order to qualify for citizenship. If we come across someone or a group of people who have not gone through that procedure, can we put pressure on the government to revoke said citizenship based on the fact that it was not received on a constitutional basis, or once they get the passport in their hand, that's it?
Let me answer you according to the Constitution. It's a piece of paper. That's all it is. It means nothing. It is null and void because it's not constitutionally sound, Miss Malcolm. Bahamians, anything that is not constitutionally sound is null and void. It's just as simple as that. The government of the Bahamas is dead wrong in handing out pieces of paper purporting to be giving to people citizenship, which is not constitutionally constructed according to the Constitution. You're talking about the supreme law of the land. You cannot take that lightly. And guess what? They've been doing this for a long time. 50 years. 50 years, Bahamians. Check the record. I got one article right here I can go through. We have not, let me withdraw the V again. Let me say the government of the Bahamas, those persons who were given the authority to run your nation, that's the government. Don't make any mistake about that. They're the culprits. They're the ones who have done the damage in giving out pieces of paper they call certificates for citizenship, not constitutionally sound. That means that's a serious matter, you know. Don't take that lightly. We have not corrected the government. That's our problem. We've sat back and allowed them to do this nonsense and this foolishness for the last 50 years. The office of Attorney General is supposed to be, according to the Constitution, the chief, the Attorney General. Let me get it right. The Attorney General is the chief legal advisor to the government. Now you got all kinds of people in there who got legal training. How come we ain't get this straight? We got to get this matter straightened out. It has been lingering and it's hurting the Bahamian people right as I speak right now today. This country flooded with all kinds of funny people in here who do not belong here. And we need to take decisive action to stop the foolishness that's going on in this place. And the Constitution tells you how to do it. You got to go right back to the very beginning. You see, when something is not, Article 2 says it's null and void. no matter who the fellow say he is, minister this, minister that, it's mean nothing to me. Is it constitutionally sound? The man wrote up some pieces of paper and gave it to some people. Has no constitutional authority to do it, but he did it anyhow. And then the other fellow say he did nothing wrong. And he said he didn't do nothing wrong. And the Constitution tells me he did something wrong. So who am I supposed to believe?
I want to read a comment.
Pardon?
I want to read a comment from a Facebook.
Yeah, okay,
forum.
all right.
So Cyrus says, I agree that is what should happen. But unless and until Sidney is made a judge and is entitled to declare law, it's all hot air. Those passports are voidable, not void.
I think I might have missed what was said at the beginning. Ms. Malcolm, if you could repeat that.
Sure.
Yeah.
It says, I agree that that is what should happen. But unless and until Sir Sidney is made a judge and is entitled to declare law, it's all hot air. Those passports are voidable, not void.
You see what I tell you about lack of understanding? Let me just say this to the particular person. I'm a professor of law. I'm not a judge. I don't have to be no judge. There are those who are in authority who appoint judges. They could do that. They have a part of the system. What I do know is this. We have the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I stand on that. I don't have to be any judge. I don't have to be sucking up to anybody. Because judges don't make law, you know. People need to understand it. You see how misguided some people are? And I think the person means well. But you don't have your ducks in a row. You are completely constitutionally wrong. Your comments are way off. But I understand where you're coming from. The point is, we have the supreme law here. When the government of the Bahamas acts contrary to that law, it is wrong. Simple. When are we going to get that? Article 2 says that. Any other law, any other policy, well, they got policy. You know, you can have a policy 10 o'clock this morning, 2 o'clock this afternoon is over. You have a new policy. We ain't talking about that. That's just by stuff. But law. And I got this article right here, Article 63. I'm going through that, Ms. Malcolm. Because the Constitution tells you when a bill becomes law. Do we understand that? And you got the governor of Bahamas working with a bill that is not law. That's why I try to get people to understand the only way it is going to be corrected, it has to be constitutionally sound. If it isn't constitutionally sound, it is null and void. Article 2. I don't care what nobody say after that. I stand on the Constitution. No one could adversely change that unless the people decide they want to change it. And you have to have a referendum because the fellows say they won't have no referendum. They were advised by their personality to do something else, which is not constitutionally sound, Bahamians. And all you can do is just sit out there and take the crap. That's what you can do. Knowing the man is 100% wrong. Knowing he's not constitutionally sound. But that's the advice he gave the government. He was bold with that. And he said, take him to court. Some other things might happen. In addition to taking that particular personality to court. Do not let people play with your mind, Bahamians. Do not let people play with this Constitution. That's the only salvation document you have. You lose that, you have nothing. It'll be just like Haiti and Sudan and them other places.
Cyrus is making another comment in response to what you're saying. He says, judges alone declare the law. They do not make the law. That is for Parliament. But judges or the court are empowered solely to declare what is the law.
Let me just say that to this particular person, because I don't think they understand what they're talking about. If two persons have a disagreement, they appear before the magistrate. The magistrate would either make in favor of one or the other. Same thing in the Court of Appeal, same thing in the Supreme Court. They make a decision. The decision they make could be unconstitutional. Do you know that? What are we talking about? The decision made by a judge could be dead wrong because it's not constitutionally sound. That means you got to know your document, man. I'm going to be very forceful when I say these things because a lot of crap has been going on and we just let it happen and we talk foolishness and nonsense and crack jokes about it while people are dying in this country. People are suffering in this country. Lives are being lost and we talking foolishness and nonsense. I might respect the view of the judge. It's his opinion, just like the woman in Baintown who got 6 boys. She has an opinion. As long as the judge is constitutionally sound, fine. Ain't got no problem with that. Some of them just talk foolishness and nonsense. Because they're sitting in a position. That means nothing, Bahamian. He could be in today and tomorrow, this afternoon, he could be out of that position. Then what?
So Cyrus says, acid tests, would the commissioner of police or any other peace officer do what Sidney says or what a judge says? No. See, the person is, see, do you see how way off this person is? It's not what I say, it's what your Constitution says. The commissioner of police or any other law enforcement officer ought to follow the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is supreme, not the word of Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. That's where people go wrong. Oh, this one said, what kind of crap is that? Follow the Constitution. Have we gotten any relief on Article 6 yet? When the Privy Council told the government of the Bahamas follow the law. The Privy Council just tell them follow the law. That's your Constitution. But we ain't doing that. It's not what this one say opposed to what that one say. Stop getting into these personality foolishness and nonsense. What does the Constitution say? That is the supreme law of the land, Bahamians. And when we get all confuddled up like this particular personality is, and the person may mean well, I'm not trying to be hard on the person, but Bahamians, we got to stop this crap, man. We are hurting badly after 50 years as a nation. Look how backward we are because we are not constitutionally sound. Our citizens are not constitutionally sound. It is hurting us badly. Many have come along over the last 50 years, hoping for a better day, looking for a better day, wanting a better day, and they pass off the scene. We're going to go through another 50 years of this foolishness? I want to read one more comment from this person, then we have to take a break because I still don't think they get what you're saying.
No, they're not getting the message.
It says art versus the reality of process is the point, not fevered dreams. The point is that even if a judge makes a ruling, if it goes against the Constitution of the Bahamas, it can be successfully challenged. We just saw it happen with the case that Sidney is talking about, where single Bahamian men, after all of these years of it being done the other way, they had a lawyer who decided to take it up in the person of Wade Monroe. And it went all the way to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council sent it back and say, follow your Constitution. Exactly. This ain't hard.
Ain't nothing hard about that.
No. And so the point is, it doesn't matter what a lawyer or a judge says. If it is contrary to the Constitution, you have recourse.
Yes, you do.
To take it all the way to
QC.
Yeah, to take it all the way to the Privy Council. That's the point.
So that is
Anyway.
why we need to educate ourselves. Well, you say you're going to a break. Let me just hold off till the break.
Yeah, let's take this break. Music playing. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Professor Sidney McGrath, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. We're talking about the Constitution of the Bahamas. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with Professor Sidney McGrath, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. We're looking at the Constitution. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271. That's 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. Also coming to you live on rumble.com, rumble.com. Look for Global Paradigm Shift, all one word, no spaces in between, and you can watch us live there. Speaking of which, channels, you can find us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, and you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and carry us around with you 24/7. Last but by no means least, welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether it's from Providence, Grand Bahama, the Family Islands, or around the world. Masterclass Monday is where you find us today, dealing with the Constitution of the Bahamas. And prior to the break, Professor Thompson was about to, I guess, respond to something that one of our Facebook viewers had to say as it relates to, I guess, the weight of power that a judicial ruling has in the country, whether it is constitutional or not. I think the point that Professor has been trying to make is that according to your Constitution, if there's a decision that has been made that is not constitutionally sound, you have recourse. So it's ludicrous to say that, oh, well, once a judge says it, that's you got to do it. If what the judge rules goes against the Constitution, you have recourse. You can challenge that. And we just saw it done successfully in the case of young Bahamian single men having children within the Bahamas with foreign women. And for decades, their children were denied citizenship. And a simple ruling by the Privy Council said, what are you talking about? That's not what your Constitution says. Why are you doing something different? Go follow your law, which is the Constitution. And so I don't care how high a judge sits in the seat in this country. Our highest court, if you want to call it that, is the Privy Council. So the point is it can be challenged if it is not constitutionally sound. I think that's the point that Professor has been trying to make for months now. Professor?
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you 100%. It's just that people have certain ideas in their head. See, they have not studied the Constitution, and I'm not going to knock them for that. In fact, Constitution law is the most difficult law for people to understand. So I have to take my time to explain in simple, basic, fundamental language so that people can understand, because it's important they understand that they have a role to play. And if you roll over and just let a government or a representative walk on top of you, mistreat you, abuse you, and you say it's good, because you don't understand the power that you have in your hand and you're not using it. You know what I said to people some time ago, and I'll say it again today. I said, get to know the person living right next door to you or that particular family. Now, don't get personal with them now. I've known people for more than half a century, husbands and wives, very well, very friendly with the wives and husbands, but never taking personal issues with them. I think what has to happen is people in these various communities, they have to come together, organize themselves. Article 24(1) of your Constitution gives you the authority to do so for the protection of your interests, and the word interest is plural. Do you have something to protect? What about the street you live on? What about those overgrown trees that are blocking the light where criminals hide? And all you do is grumble and complain every single day how the light is being blocked by the trees, but you do nothing. See, that's the kind of faith people got. Faith without works is dead. Get up off your butt and cut the trees, or have someone who is qualified who can get there. The community has to get together. It's a collective will of the people. When are we going to understand that? No one personality can deal with this particular issue with the Constitution. It takes the collective will. Article 24(1) spells that out in simple, basic, fundamental language. I've talked about it relentlessly. Excuse me. From the time I came on air. And someone mentioned to me some time ago, I always like to refer to Article 24.1, it's the only piece in the Constitution that stresses that. What do you expect me to do? Just ignore it? I won't ignore it. Because it's a key piece of information. So when the fellas say, put your $400 down on the table, that's all he know. But we even ain't trying to help him to understand what goes before the $400 is put in the pot. We're not trying to help the lady who called in and say, all y'all talking and you ain't doing nothing. Like the fellow told me to start a group and head one committee and that kind of thing. But he doesn't understand the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Anything I say, constitutional. Anything I do, constitutional. Anything I think, constitutional. So you ain't gonna get me on nothing. I can make sure of that. Because see, I know better. Now, those who don't know better, they have to learn to do better. And I'm prepared to work with you. I tell you all the time, if you don't know how to organize yourself, call me. 465-5786. 465-5786. And that fella didn't call me last week. Whole week gone by and he ain't called yet, but he have so much mouth on the air. You got to take action, Bahamians. Don't keep sitting down and allowing the government of the Bahamas to ride us straight to hell with actions that they're doing right now, which are not constitutionally sound. Are you prepared to challenge them? Are you prepared to stand up and tell your representative and tell the government of the Bahamas, you are wrong. You're not constitutionally sound. And can you point them to where they're going wrong? See, I can do that. That's why I can say it on air. I challenge anyone to come and say, Professor Thompson is misleading the public. They think there's man or woman, tell them come. But not a living soul has ever stepped forward from the time I've been on these radio shows. Not a living one. Does it mean Professor Thompson is always right? Not necessarily. But I can tell you this, when I speak for that about that Constitution, I can be constitutionally sound. Now, if you can show me by the Constitution, Professor, you are not right, then fine. But the crappy things that people are spewing out on, say texting and all that kind of thing, they don't want to identify themselves. Fine, you ain't got to do that. Just get to know what's in the document. That's why I'm here every Monday, by the grace of God. We aren't going to get anywhere in this place if we do not take constitutional action against the government of the Bahamas for the things that they are doing that are not constitutionally sound. When are we going to learn that?
Okay, there's a question here from Richard on Facebook. It says, I have a question, Mr. Thompson. Who is responsible to get the government to hold themselves to the law? Is it the opposing party or is it someone else? I don't know. I'm asking you so I can understand.
That's a good question. I'm glad. See, I like those kind of questions. Now, that question is probably the most sensible one that I've heard so far in the show. Let me answer the question for you. When you look at our system, you have what is called opposition, and you have what is called the governing side. And that's why some people think we're just a two-party system. You have two parties that dominate the House right now. The government will tell you they'll have their way. The opposition will have their say. But the point is, even those who are on the governing side are supposed to be looking out for the interests of their constituents. Are they doing that? They ought to tell the government, the cabinet now, those who sit in the cabinet, and fellows who call themselves state minister, although the Constitution doesn't approve that, and the fellow who calls himself deputy prime minister, the Constitution doesn't approve that. So let me get that clear. And they need to correct that. That crap has been going on for 50 years, and it hasn't been corrected yet. But you don't want to put no pressure on them, so they keep doing the foolishness, and they think it's okay, just like they tell the people from the by-election, boy. The people say they love us, they love what we're doing. But the people invest and still ain't got no food to eat. But the thing is, the opposition's supposed to have a responsibility to check the government to make sure that they do what is right constitutionally. Unfortunately, in our system, the fellas keep throwing rocks at one another. What happened here? What happened there? See these tourists coming in? We got all kinds of tourists in my area. I mean, the place is flooded with tourists. You can't move around in there unless you bump into tourists. That's where I live. And I'm happy that they're there. I ain't getting upset about that. I want them to keep coming. And you should see the multitude of children. The multitude of children coming into the area. And adults, mothers and fathers, and other relatives. Large crowds of people crowd into the area where I live. And that happens every day of the week. Now, for a long time, it wasn't happening. I'll just say I'd like to mention that. But now it is the duty of the opposition members to keep the government in check. It is also the duty of those representatives on the governing side. If the government of the Bahamas, and that's the cabinet now, you got a difference between those who sit in parliament and those who sit in the cabinet. So let's get that straight. You got the cabinet, you got the parliament. Parliament is supposed to keep tabs on the government of the Bahamas. Do we understand that? Are they doing that? Or the fellow want one position, say he want to be executive chairman. Then some funny things start happening. Huh? Is that what he is there for? And those who are ministers of the government, some of them get so carried away with position and status, the level of representation in that constituency they're supposed to be representing is nil. The Constitution says peace, order, good government. Do you see that in the constituencies? Do you see peace? Do you see order? Where's the good government? Where are constituency problems being solved? Where are national problems being solved? Name them, Bahamians. These constituencies are so run down and broke up, and people living, scrapping to live, Bahamians. That's not good government. That's not good representation. But that's what we have. But the fellas collect that money every month. So what do you want? You want to keep it that way? It is the duty of the parliament, well, let's say the House of Assembly. They're part of parliament. So let me just clarify this now. Parliament represents the Queen, the Senate, and the House of Assembly. So let me be specific and say the House of Assembly, those who sit in there, are supposed to keep tabs on the government. So when the government steps out of line, no, sir, you're dead wrong. Stop the crap. Get it right. Do you see them do that? So I say it on air all the time. Because I do my homework, Bahamians. This is no plaything. It's my very life. You know how many pigeons I have coming after me? They want a future. They want a better country. And by the grace of God, Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson will work in cooperation with others, because it's not a one-man thing. Go to Article 24.1, and the answer is right there. So I must say, the caller, it's a good question. I like those kind of questions. It's going to take the representatives in the opposition and also the constituents on both sides, the governing side and the opposition side, the constituents in those constituencies, to put the kind of pressure on them, because some of them are lazy, you know. They're supposed to be parliamentarians, supposed to be making laws, and they know nothing was in this document. Nothing, never see it. But they sitting up in the House because you send them there. and you don't know their credentials. But they're there, so we got to work with them. Until the Bahamian people decide, you know something? We got to get rid of them. So in answer to the question, yes, it takes the opposition. It also takes the electors, and the electors are the constituents in the various constituencies. Their voice has to be heard too, not just the personality who sits in the House of Assembly and you kind of back off and say, let him do the work, because it can't work like that. And let me just add this so the caller can understand.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas does not allow for any one particular personality who sits in that house to operate of himself, by himself, independent of the others. It doesn't work that way. That's not constitutional. There has to be cooperation between the parliament and the government. That's where the collective will comes in. And if the government is wrong, you tell them that they're wrong. So if they get vexed, tell them stuff it. They don't have to be there, Bahamians, to do your national affairs and they getting vexed and you paying them. You don't have to have that. But the problem is we just fall right down. Woe is me. We don't have to put up with the foolishness and the nonsense that the government of the Bahamas is putting out on us. We could stop it. We have to be organized in our constituencies for better representation. That's the whole purpose of the representative. Not for chit-chat, not for talking, not for one ham and one turkey. You know, some could be looking for ham and turkey this Christmas, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, I want to see a government that can solve national problems. I want a representative who can deal with those constituency problems and get them solved. But he needs the cooperation of the government of the Bahamas to make it happen. Let me stop right there, Ms. Malcolm. I'll go till Christ come back.
Let me read a
comment. I could go until the man come back. But see, I am so solid when it comes to the Constitution. I ain't checking for nobody when they talk foolishness and nonsense. Go ahead, Ms. Malcolm.
There's someone on Facebook, Sandra says, no, that's not what I was looking for.
Can you speak a little louder because you kind of go for me?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, that's better.
Sandra says, Professor, is it in the Constitution where people living in a, sorry, this is Dale Ellis.
Okay.
Professor, is it in the Constitution where people living in a particular constituency can garner enough signatures to have their acting MP removed due to neglect or not doing his job?
Did he say acting MP? Is that what I heard?
Let me read it again.
Let me read it again. Yeah, I want to make sure. See, I want to make sure I get the right thing.
Is it in the Constitution where people living in a particular constituency can garner enough signatures to have their acting MP removed due to neglect or not doing his job?
But there's no such thing as an acting MP. That's not constitutional at all. You are a representative in the House of Assembly, having been duly elected to perform. Right. Now, when it comes to the petitioning, yes, you can do that. And that's a way of showing interest in your constituency. I see nothing wrong with that. Article 24.1 gives you what? The power to act in your best interest. And if you think putting a petition together can be contributing to improvements in your area, I say let's go for it. But there's some other things you could do which would be more powerful than just simply putting in a petition. Because you know, some people, they display turn their head the other way. And you have the power to turn their head back and face them. Either this or nothing at all. See, we haven't really used our authority as citizens in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to put fear in the government of the Bahamas. Let me repeat that. We have not used our authority as citizens in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to put fear. in the government of the Bahamas. That's why they behave the way they do. Like a
Well,
spoiled child.
quite frankly, it's the opposite. They instead of us putting fear in them, they putting fear in us.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. You're quite right. But see, we aren't using the power that we have. I got one article right here I won't get into, but I ain't gonna be able to do it, Miss Malcolm. I gotta leave that article because that is so expansive. I ain't gonna be able to handle it the way I want to for the rest of the show. But the thing is, I got to do that when I come back again next Monday. Because I want people to understand this Constitution has a lot of power in it for you and me to work with. Don't listen to them talking nonsense and foolishness. Don't get all carried away because a leader of the party say, I want that fella. Y'all got to vote for him because I want him. He's going to sit around the table. You want to buy this garbage all the time? Is that what you want? Because you hear a particular personality make those kinds of statements? No. He has a right to express himself. See, I can't knock him for that because the Constitution says he has freedom of expression. So I ain't getting into that. But I know one thing. I'm going to analyze it and ask myself, is he constitutionally sound? If he's not, it's garbage, it's rubbish, it's null and void. Simple as that. And you don't have to accept it. We have a lot going for us, but we're not using it. We haven't done in 50 years. Bahamians, what are we going to do? We're going to go through this nonsense for another 50? I'm going to work tirelessly to make sure, not interrupting Malcolm, let me make this point. I'm going to work tirelessly because you got thousands and thousands of Bahamians out there who are depending on when I come on this show every Monday. See, they don't have the airways like I do. But I have to help the Bahamian people, and I have to do it responsibly. I have to go by the Constitution rigidly and not talk foolishness. Go ahead, Miss Malcolm.
All right, got to take a break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let's take this break. When we come back, we'll see how far we can go. We're talking about the Constitution of the Bahamas, your rights and responsibilities as outlined therein. There's a lot of power in there, but power is only effective when that knowledge is applied. Knowledge is power, they say, but you could have all the knowledge of the world. If you ain't applying that knowledge, you might as well don't have it. And that is part of the problem that we're experiencing, where people, number one, don't know, or number two, aren't willing to act on it. And this is what has to change. So stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our number one priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We're in the last quarter of the show. My guest today is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. We are talking about the Constitution of the Bahamas. And here's how you can get in on this. The telephone numbers to call are 326-0271. That's 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271. That's 801-0271. Streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Please like and share the show. Also coming to you live on rumble.com. That's rumble.com. Look for Global Paradigm Shift, all one word, no spaces in between. Coming to you on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. And you could download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there. And last but by no means least, we're coming to you on radio. Welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of Radio Land, they call it. Whether it's here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, throughout the country, or around the world. However you got here, thank you so much for being here and being a part of the show. Well, we have a lot of comments coming in on Facebook. Let me see if I can get a couple of them up. Okay, this one is from Roma. Roma says, Mr. Thompson, we are all getting older, and you have some thought-provoking constitutional issues being pointed out because we as a people are either afraid or ignorant to these issues. Have you thought about documenting your thoughts about the Constitution irregularities so that someone can carry on the baton in regards to these concerns? We are losing a lot of our historians and knowledgeable older folks. Have you thought about this?
Yes, I have. I've thought about it. The thing is, we got to act now. with what we have. And it will be well documented. The thing is that we have to do this now, Bahamians. We see 50 years, we have already lost 50 years. We can't keep crying over spilled milk. The thing for us to do right now, like I tell people all the time, you see the fella living right next door to you, that family? Go and talk to that family. You ain't got to get personal. Get to know the people on your street. Talk to them, Bahamians. Come on. That's where it starts. Get to know the people on your street. Get friendly with them. Be nice to them. Be kind to them. You'll be surprised to know what they'll do for you.
We have a call on the line. We have a call on the line, Professor. Caller, welcome to GPS.
A pleasant good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm, and to your guest, Mr. Thompson.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, it's a scary, scary place to be right now in the Bahamas. If you look at the election, this election went down in Freeport.
Yes, ma'am.
It should tell you, and that's what's scary to me, with how the Bahamian mindset is. For them to continually, after 15 years, both governments had let us down, failed us, failed the system. And I listened to you, Mr. Thompson, on Miss Malcolm's show, and you know, Miss Malcolm, you're a hero. I might as well tell you, you're a hero. Continue. Mr. Thompson, you continually pound this, because without, I love when you said today about the Privy Council, how they rule. If the constitutional is smashed up, then we really have nothing. And this is what both governments are going by, keeping us dumb, keeping us blind, and they don't even want you to mention the Constitution. But we need that. This country needs that.
Yes, ma'am.
We just continually go around and around and around and around like we're going in circles, like we have no sense. We have government who don't guide us, we have no leader, we have nothing. The only thing we have is a bunch of illegals coming in by the government and by Bahamians in positions that are helping them. We honestly need a shake, like you shake the daily tree.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's scary. It's very scary to move around in the country that we know all those years. So beautiful, beautiful Bahama land. And it's like in the next 10 years, if we don't change it now,
yes, ma'am,
we'll have a Haiti Bahamas. Because that's exactly what is going on. And Mr. Thompson, these governments know what you're saying. Ms. Malcolm, these governments hear you. But they don't fear us because we don't stand for nothing. We just continually talk and talk and talk. And you know what they do? They do and they do and they do. And watch the Haitian population. They're not saying anything, you know, because they're getting exactly what they want. Continue, Mr. Thompson, to preach on the Constitution because that is where our strength lies. Nobody wants to deal with it. Nobody wants to touch it, both governments, because they know why they don't want to touch it. They know why they don't want to clean it up. And we need a government alone who is just going to act from the Constitution. And that's it. Ms. Malcolm, continue. You are a hero. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That caller lifted my spirits today. I think she was accurate and precise. The only thing that I think she was wrong, she talked about government. There's only one government. And I understand where she's coming from. I just want to correct that. You have two different parties that had the opportunity to govern this country. One government for the Commonwealth of Bahamas. See, the Constitution speaks about the government of the Bahamas. You have different administrations. So I understand when she uses it that way. I'm not trying to knock in any way, but her remarks were right on target. I will continue to stand by the Constitution. No one's going to shake me off that. That's why I'm telling the people, you don't know how to organize in the area where you are. We will help you to do that, Bahamians. You ain't got to be scared of anybody. You ain't got to be afraid of some personalities. We have the Constitution to protect us from them. Use it. I'm going to use it, and I need 150,000 plus of you to use it too. That's where the strength is with the people. Always was there. Because the Constitution guarantees you that. You don't need no government to tell you that. Don't wait for them either.
We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, good afternoon, Lady Malcolm. Good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, how are you, my friend?
I am wonderful. I want to ask Professor Thompson a question, but before I say that, my sentiments exactly that lady who called.
Yes, she was excellent.
Right. She's right
on target. Right on target.
She's right on target. As a matter of fact, I want to tell her she should see the photograph that's making the rounds on WhatsApp and Facebook now with after all that corruption and broke down in Freeport on them two different states,
yes,
with Ingram, Christie, and Graves standing up together, huddling to the basketball game.
I was informed of that.
They need to see that.
Yeah.
You understand? But now, Magada Walter Thompson,
yes,
you said that we must communicate and get to know our neighbors. Yes. And my question to you is, how the hell are you supposed to know my neighbors and I can't speak Creole? That's all I call. Please answer that for me.
I think you threw a curveball.
Caller, you wicked, you know. You are being a very naughty person today, caller. You're being very naughty.
I can understand what he's saying, but the thing is that we have to look at our situation. We have to galvanize ourselves because the Constitution says we can do it. We have to do everything constitutionally. If we stay within the supreme law of the land, you know something, what we need to do, those particular personalities who are supposed to be new citizens, let's Bahamianize them. We have no fight against them. The fight is against the government of the Bahamas, who has done tremendous damage to the Bahamian people over the last 50 years. Tremendous damage. It's showing right now all kind of problems that we've never experienced before. We're experiencing right now today. We have to act today, the 27th day of November. Don't wait for the 28th. Let's do it today, Bahamians. You've got to move quickly. We only have a very limited period of time. We have to move on it. Okay, Ms. Malcolm.
All right. You know, I've come to the conclusion, and who knows? That's just how I feel today. Maybe it'll change tomorrow. But after looking at what has happened in this by-election that just went by,
yes,
and all of the elections that happened before, you know, I am starting to really believe that perhaps the best way to try to make change, understanding the reality in which we live, of it being a two-party system, that we need to try to seek to bring about that change from within the existing system. I'm starting to think that, because I'll put it this way. I was watching Branville McCartney on television the other night, and he made a joke. He said, Bahamian people, say they'll be walking with you campaigning. You're talking about third parties. They'll be walking with you, campaigning with you. And then when election day come, you see them bust out one of them other two colors. And they say to you, well, I support you, but you know, I got to do what I got to do. Bahamian people don't seem to be willing to make the change or to be a part of the change that they say they want to see.
Yes.
So what do? Do we try to change the system from within? Or do we continue to try to fight against the existing system to get to open the eyes of the Bahamian people to see where the existing system may not be working towards their best benefit? What do when Bahamian people can be very, very good actors and actresses into making you believe that you have their full support when you decide to go against the grain, until it's time to go in that booth to vote, then all of a sudden, they walk with you during the campaign. Like Bradville say, man, these people will be out there campaigning with you. Said election day, they bust up in one of the colors, and you be like, well, what is this? Man, I gotta do what I gotta do. So what do you think is the best approach?
No, it's a good question that you ask. Bahamians have got to stop deceiving themselves. Are you going to continue to put your head in the lion's mouth, knowing that it could be snapped off at any time? Is that what we want? Are we going to look at ourselves and make sound decisions and good judgments? You only can do that if you're constitutionally sound. There are problems with the current system which operate in this country. Those systems are not constitutionally sound. The quicker we realize the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is acting not in accordance with the Constitution, the better for us in this country. The problem has to be corrected constitutionally. We have to be honest, upfront with ourselves. The Constitution speaks about the supremacy of God. We're looking at things from a carnalistic point of view. That has not helped us in 57 years since majority rule. We are forgetting the fact that we got thousands and thousands of little ones out there who want a better country. Are we prepared to sacrifice to make it happen for them? See, my mother and father sacrificed for me. And they had a number of persons who they sacrificed for. I just happen to be one out of many. I'm simply saying, are we prepared to allow our children, our grandchildren to suffer in this beautiful Commonwealth of the Bahamas for a bottle of soda, for some rum, or for one t-shirt? Is that what we want? We have to examine ourselves. The only way we're going to see change if it is constitutionally sound. Anything outside of your constitution is null and void. And unfortunately, some people operate that way. And it would seem as if you have to go that way. You don't have to go the way of rebellion. You don't have to go a way of wickedness in order to get an advantage. You don't have to put your head in the lion's mouth and play around with the lion, knowing you can snap your head off at any point. You don't do those things. You have to think about your future. Think about what's happening in this country. We have to make changes. We need the right people to be in the seats in the House of Assembly. We need the right people to be in the government of the Bahamas. That's the only way change is going to occur. No ifs, no ands, no buts. So stop playing games with ourselves. We've been doing it for 50 years. Look where we are as a nation. See how broke up this place is? We wanted to keep breaking up like how it is south of us in Haiti and further away like Sudan. We're going to wait until that happens. Then we realize we ain't got no more country. It may be too late then. Your constitution will not be in existence. It will be declared null and void by some rebels who will take over the land. Is that what you want? You're going to wait until that happens? Right now, we have a window of opportunity. And it is a very short window of opportunity. And every day that passes, it closes. And then the day will come when it will shut completely. And you have no more help. Is that what we want? I don't think so. So we have to do what is right. We have to ask God to help us, to get our minds on Him, the supremacy of God. Where is that in our national life? Where is it in our decision making? Where are those Christian values, those Christian principles on which our mothers and fathers built this country? If they knew the crap that's going on right now, they would be terribly disappointed. And I know what my mother would tell me and what my daddy will tell me. I always think about that. I say, what would mommy say? What would daddy say? And they will not be pleased with me if I took a non-constitutional approach to the issues that affect this country. The only salvation document we have is our Constitution. Without it, we have nothing. So let us not play games with some jokers who want to give you a bottle of rum, some sodas, a ham or a turkey, and they give you that, and then they take the country for themselves. For
I
their
want
own
to read a
personal.
comment. I want to read a Let me read this comment to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir says you need to hear from practicing lawyers in the Constitution to speak of the way the court has historically and currently interpret the Constitution. All else is hot air and spinning tires. How do you respond to that?
No, they could listen to them. I ain't got a problem with that, I think, but they just wouldn't come forward. They've been in the dark for 50 years. You see them come forward yet? So you want to wait for them? Keep waiting, then you may wait another 50.
But here's my thing. The Constitution is very clear on things that are written within.
Oh, yes.
The layperson may not understand the language of it.
No, that is true.
But it is still very clear. And so, to me, the answer to that is, if you allow somebody to come and change what is in the Constitution because of their interpretation of it, then I don't say shame on them. I say shame on you.
Of course.
Because, I often said it as an example when I was a practicing news journalist. You could have an assignment that I was assigned to cover, you were assigned to cover, and another journalist is assigned to cover. All of us covering the same event. But yet when we go back to our station, our respective stations, we all covering the same event from different angles.
Yes.
So you get 3 different stories being reported from the same event. That doesn't change the reality of what happened at the event.
That's correct.
So if you sit back and say, well, you need to hear from a practicing attorney because the way the court has historically and currently interpret the Constitution, all else is hot air. The Constitution is not hot air, though.
You got to believe that.
It is very clear. So I think the point of what is being said here today is that if you choose to allow the interpretation of the Constitution to deter you from understanding your rights and responsibilities and challenging those who may be misinterpreting the Constitution.
Now, that's what they need to do. Now,
that on you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Ms. Malcolm. That's what they need to do. You challenge those personalities who are misleading the Bahamian people every living day about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. If they want to challenge what I say, tell them come. I see them yet from the day I started. Not a living one. But they could still come if they think there's man, there's woman. Tell them come. You sit back and waiting for the so-called practicing attorney. They've been in the dark for more than half a century. You won't wait another half a century? The Bible tells you about people who love darkness. I'll let you find that out for yourself. But to see a fellow like me, I couldn't give a hang. I know the power of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It's our salvation to save this country from the sinking sand it's in right here, right now. And if we don't have enough sense to look at what's happening to us by the government of the Bahamas and those who were given the authority to run our national affairs, you got some other fellows who got all kinds of different positions. And they're eating off the public purse. And you're satisfied with this foolishness and this nonsense?
We have to take our final break, Professor. Let's take this final
Yes,
break,
ma'am.
and then we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
$99.5.
Only a minute left, Professor. I got to give you 30 seconds to give us your final thoughts, and we got to get out of here.
I'm grateful for that. My number 465-5786. Next week, Monday, God willing, I'm going to deal with Article 63 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Bahamians have to be honest and truthful with you. The country is fast sinking. We need to save it. The only document that we have is the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor, as always, for shedding some light on this topic. Thank you so much. That's it for today's show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. It's 4 o'clock. I got to get out of here. We're going to have a great show planned for you tomorrow. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network.